So it is actually starting. President Biden is rejecting the plan of the Republican Party. But what plan is this? Well, this has to do with raising the debt ceiling. We've heard this many times before, that the United States must raise the debt ceiling, and we must do it before June or July. Well, it's coming due. And I have what's going on as of right now. So first off, all you got to do, takes 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button, and let's continue with the video. So here's what I can tell you. Right now, a no strings attached debt limit increase will not pass. That's not coming from me. That is what was made very clearly today by the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. That's what he said. Now, he did say that the GOP will walk back from their original statement of there's no way we will vote to increase the debt ceiling without substantial cuts to our existing spending. So, he is okay with leaving spending pretty much where it's at, but he does not want to see increases. Today, the new plan was revealed, and it was very quickly pretty much rejected by President Biden and Democrats. So, with that said, what was included? Well, this is what Speaker Kevin McCarthy told Wall Street. He said the debt ceiling crisis needs to be taken seriously, that traders are not taking this seriously, and there is actually a risk of a default. And so this is a real threat, and Wall Street needs to be a little more careful with what they're doing and with what they're saying. Because in reality, this debt ceiling crisis could actually cripple the United States for years to come. For years to come. Now, what is actually going to happen? Well, what we know as of right now is Speaker Kevin McCarthy said that the GOP is willing to work with Democrats, but only if Democrats are willing to work with the GOP. According to President Biden, he wants to see a no strings attached debt limit increase. However, Speaker Kevin McCarthy says that is not an option. There is no way Republicans, both in the House and the Senate, will agree to vote on a bill that has a no strings attached debt limit increase. That's not going to happen. So, what is Speaker Kevin McCarthy actually proposing? Well, here's what I can tell you. In the coming weeks, the House Republicans will vote on a bill that would lift the debt limit for another year until May of 2024, which means they're expecting this bill is going to pass by the end of May of 2023. But in order for this bill to pass, they would need to see all spending freeze to last year's levels. Okay, they would also want stricter work requirements on social programs, and they would want a bunch of regulatory rollbacks. That is what we're hearing as of today. Now, there's a few problems here. One of the first major problems, though, is that it would put Congress in a very difficult spot, simply because next year, in 2024, is an election year. That's the presidential election year, which means that if we have another debt limit crisis in May of 2024, guess what? That's just months before the presidential election. That would not be good. It wouldn't be good for Democrats, and it wouldn't be good for Republicans. But guess who it's going to impact the most? It always impacts the party that is in control. That right now is Democrats. So it would actually negatively impact Democrats more than it would negatively impact Republicans. So that is actually a win for Republicans right there. But it's highly unlikely that May 2024 would be the date. There's also another smaller problem, and that is that as of right now, it's very unclear as to whether or not House Republicans would even vote to get this bill passed. Remember, House Republicans have a very slim majority in the House of Representatives right now. And in the Senate, Democrats have a very slim majority as well. Now, here's exactly what the House Republicans are proposing as of today. First off, they want to freeze spending to last year's fiscal year's levels, want to rescind tens of billions of dollars in unspent pandemic relief funds. They want to enact stricter work requirements on food stamps and Medicaid recipients. They want to expand domestic mining and fossil fuel production. And they want to roll back federal regulations Republicans are viewing as overly burdensome. That is what we know according to the New York Times. Now, here's the final problem. As of right now, Democrats just want to see a plan. They don't care if the plan is, if it's horrible or if they love it. They just want to see a plan. What we know right now is what I just told you is what Speaker Kevin McCarthy said on Wall Street today. This isn't necessarily a proposal. This was just a speech from Speaker Kevin McCarthy. But the good thing is that once something is finally voted on within the House, the Senate, and specifically Senate Democrats, can use that as their initial offer, and they can go and negotiate against it. So again, right now we're still months away from an agreement. The good news is we have until possibly sometime at the end of June or sometime in July. Right now we're in the middle of April. So we got May and June. So we got 2 months. But time is ticking. And as of right now, we don't have many days to waste. So here's what I can tell you. What we're going to hear over the next couple of months is that President Biden continues to reject the Republican plan. We're also going to hear that Republicans are not going to negotiate with President Biden if he does not want to have anything attached to the debt limit increase. Right now, that's the case. And as of right now, and Speaker Kevin McCarthy has brought this up multiple times, is why are Republicans reaching out to the White House, to Biden's staff, and they will not get back to them with an invitation to let's sit down and have a meeting at this time on this date. They're just skipping over it. And here's why. According to reports, Republicans are hoping that if they get closer to the deadline, then President Biden will feel the pressure and he will have to negotiate with them. Democrats are hoping that as they get closer to the deadline, Republicans will realize, you know what, maybe this is not the way it's going to happen. Maybe we just have to go and increase the debt limit, not attach anything to it, and we will just live with that decision. Well, here's the problem. Right now, both parties are playing chicken with the United States. That is not a good place to be. Okay? So right now, according to a handful of experts, that we could see the stock market tank. We could see businesses completely freeze when it comes to putting money back into their business, or when it comes to hiring, we could see mass layoffs. We could see wage cuts. We could see the entire economy just crumble even before we default on our debts. And again, that could happen towards the end of June or most likely sometime in July. So with that said, this is critical. What we are figuring out over the next couple of months is going to be very important, because this is going to tell us whether or not we are getting closer to an agreement or actually further away. The expectation right now is that we're actually too far away to even come to an agreement anytime soon. So unless both parties decide, you know what, this is not working, we have to come together and create a better idea or a better plan moving forward, well, it's going to hurt the American people. But again, this could all happen before we actually default on our debts. So I will bring you all the latest news and updates regarding the debt ceiling increase and whatever negotiations we might have over the next couple of months. But again, all you got to do is 2 things. Go ahead, hit that like button, click that subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the next one.